Dealer add-ons are not random extras. They are part of a dealership system. In this three-part series, we're going to break that system down clearly for you. Part 1 will explain how these changes get into the deal before you clearly agree to them. Part 2 follows the money and explains why the markup is the business. Part 3 gives the buyer a practical strategy to remove, reduce, or offset add-ons before signing. Our goal is simple, and the goal is to help you recognize the system before it works against you. We will begin part 1 with the most important point. The negotiation may start before you ever arrive at the dealership. The car may already have dealer-installed extras on it, such as window etching, paint protection, nitrogen gas-filled tires, door edge guards, interior protection. These items may be added before the buyer sees the car and before the buyer asks for them. Furthermore, before the buyer agrees to pay for them. That changes the conversation before it even begins, because by the time the buyer sees the vehicle, the add-on may already look like it's part of the deal. Most buyers know to look at the factory sticker, but the factory sticker may not be the whole story. There may be a second sticker, a dealer addendum, and that is where the dealership lists extras it added after the vehicle left the manufacturer. This matters because the factory sticker tells you what came with the car, and the dealer addendum tells you what the dealership added to the deal. That second sticker deserves careful observation. It may be where those extra charges to the deal begin. Many buyers look at the factory sticker and think that is the full story. But sometimes there is another sticker, not from the manufacturer, not part of the original factory equipment. It's a dealer addendum. That second sticker may list dealer installed extras, protections, appearance, and other packages. This is where the buyer needs to slow down, because the factory sticker tells you what came from the manufacturer, and the dealer addendum tells you what the dealership added. And that second sticker is often where the add-on system becomes visible. Dealer installed is a phrase that does matter. It means the item was added by the dealership, not the manufacturer, not as standard factory equipment. That does not automatically mean the item is worthless, but it does mean the buyer should stop and ask, who added it? What does it cost? Was it disclosed clearly? And did I agree to pay for it? Because dealer installed does not mean factory required, and it definitely does not mean buyer approved. The dealership may describe these items as protection: paint protection, interior protection, tire protection, theft protection. And protection sounds reasonable. Nobody wants scratches, stains, theft, or tire problems. But that is not the first question. The first question is, did I ask for it? The second question is, did I agree to pay that price? Protection language can make the charge sound helpful, but helpful sounding language does not replace clear approval. The buyer should not confuse a useful sounding sounding name with a charge they actually agreed to pay. Those add-ons usually sound practical when they are described quickly. Window etching is presented as theft protection. Paint protection is presented as preserving the finish. Nitrogen gas-filled tires are presented as helping with tire pressure. Door edge guards are presented as scratch protection. Interior protection is presented as stain resistance. Appearance packages are presented as upgrades. The point is not that every add-on is automatically worthless. The point is timing. Was it disclosed clearly before the buyer became attached to the vehicle? Was it explained before the numbers started moving? And did the buyer actually agree to it? That is the issue. Practical sounding add-ons still require clear approval by the buyer. Once the add-on is already on the vehicle, the buyer's mindset changes. The buyer is no longer looking at a clean yes or no decision. The add-on appears to be part of the car, part of the package, part of the deal. That shift absolutely matters. The buyer starts from the dealership's position instead of starting from zero. That is how an optional item begins to feel unavoidable. The add-on gains power because it is already there. Yes, timing is everything. By the time the buyer notices the add-on, they may already want the car. They may have test driven it. They may have compared it to other vehicles. They may have imagined driving it home. At that point, the buyer is not just evaluating a charge. The buyer is trying not to lose the vehicle they already picked. That emotional commitment gives the add-on more leverage. The charge becomes harder to question because the car now matters. That is the lesson of part one. Do not confuse installed with approved. Do not confuse a second sticker with a requirement. Do not confuse protection language with permission, and do not confuse something already on the car with something you agreed to buy. Pre-installed does not mean pre-approved. Before the buyer can challenge the price, the buyer has to recognize the setup. That is the first step. See how the charge got into the deal. Part one showed how the add-on gets positioned before the buyer clearly says yes. Part two follows the money because once the add-on is on the car, the next question is not just what it is. The next question is what the buyer is being charged for. The item may be small, the dealer's cost may be low, but the customer's price may be much higher. That gap is where part two begins. Thanks for watching and listening. If this helped, please subscribe, like, and comment. In part two, we follow the money behind dealer add-ons and explain why the markup is often the real business of the dealership. Please stay connected with our Senior Power community at ourseniorpower.com. And as you know, our motto is information plus knowledge equal senior power. Thanks again.